This is Cleopatra's Needle, an ancient granite obelisk which was moved from Alexandria, Egypt and placed on the side of the Thames River in London in 1878. I doused it to see if it still radiates energy even after being removed from its original location, and... it's reacting to an obelisk that's been removed from its original place in Egypt, on the side of the Thames.
So if we look at the pyramids over in Egypt, as far as I'm concerned, I agree with Christopher Dunn, who wrote the book, The Giza Power Plant. I have a degree in electrical engineering, I have a degree in electronics, and I have another one on top of that. But that's just to state, when I look at the pyramids, I see a power plant. The way they're constructed, the coating that used to cover the pyramids, the pyramid capstone, and considering the fact that the time when they were built, the water level of the Nile, the groundwater level, was closer to the base of the pyramid. So you have water at the base, and you had the capstone, and you have the coating, and the way the chambers are laid out, and the material the pyramids were made from, they act as a big power generating system.
Now, the Great Pyramid of Giza is sited above what some dowsers describe as a double vortex, which is one vortex going in one direction and another vortex going in the opposite direction, that creates, how they see it, a portal entrance where you have these two energies going on. When you have lays going through that area as well, they are said to be highly charged. So vortex energy can speed up the energy of a lay.
So many ancient sites like stone circles, pyramids, even dolmens are built above aquifers, where it's like a congregation of lots of different water channels coming into one spot, almost forming into like a spiral beneath the site. It's a big question mark whether the sites were chosen and built directly upon these particular spots because of their qualities, or whether the sites themselves actually kind of attract the water to them through the geometry and the placement, like the acupuncture stones going into the ground and things like this. And you do get natural energies coming off, you know, water moving through tight spaces within the chalk or within the different types of materials, and this can create electric charge on the surface, and you can feel this. You feel this buzzing on the surface when this happens. And so people have suggested, like Guy Underwood and more recently Maria Wheatley and others, that these were an important aspect, combined with the earth energies and the telluric currents, of this whole kind of energetic principle lying behind the construction of ancient sites.
The Giza Plateau in Egypt is thought to be an extremely powerful energy vortex with many ley lines running through the pyramids. It is theorized that the pyramids of Giza functioned as energy generators. They are constructed of piezoelectric granite with an insulating limestone and had conductive gold capstones at their peaks. They lie above extensive aquifers fed by the Nile. These aquifers create triboelectricity through the friction the water creates when flowing through caverns and sediment. Ionization flows from the aquifers up through the highly conductive pyramids and was focalized up into the gold capstones. From these capstones, electricity could have been aerially transmitted and then received by the granite obelisks placed around Egypt that would have had gold-plated tips originally. My copper dowsing rods reacted strongly every time I approached Cleopatra's Needle. This also worked for my mother and a random woman who wanted to try out the rods as well. This indicates that there is an electromagnetic energy emitting from this obelisk. Many other Egyptian obelisks have been moved and placed in the centers of cities such as Paris and Rome. Might this have been to utilize this ancient technology in our modern centers of power? The sister obelisk that stood next to Cleopatra's Needle in Alexandria is now in Central Park, New York City.
The aquifers in the rock beneath the Giza plateau can cause the electrons to be released from the rock through into the pyramids and then out into the environment to create almost like an ionospheric environment that induces paranormal experiences, the appearance of mysterious lights, and almost certainly other types of shifted states of consciousness, something that almost certainly would have been known to the pyramid builders.
So even under the Giza Plateau, we have a huge kind of aquifer water system going on there, which you can find in like the Osiris shaft. You can find in many of the underground areas there, the subterranean kind of realms that have been recorded there. You get a similar thing in the Assyrian Abydos, where the water table comes up, and that's known specifically as a very healing kind of water, and has had profound healing effects on people. And so, you know, was the Great Pyramid chosen, and the placement of it, because of the water table, the aquifers, the kind of streams of water that naturally come in there? Because it appears, according to some researchers, that they were absorbing and pulling the water into the lower levels, the underground levels of the Great Pyramid, and it acted like some kind of pump, kind of moving water around, which would have created energy.
The funnel shape of the pyramid is hypothesized to cause energy rising up through it to rotate around and around, building up a powerful vortex. This earth electricity could have been used to power devices in theory, but it could have also been used to enhance agricultural yields, promote physical health, stimulate the brain to enter altered states of consciousness, and potentially to open portals. Many people have reported having otherworldly experiences within the pyramids.
The fact that electrons would have been released through the rocks into the interior of the Great Pyramid, in particular the so-called subterranean chamber, which is very deep down beneath the main structure itself, tells us that with the addition of the knowledge from research that I've done myself with Rodney Hale, that many of the chambers actively produce very low frequency and infrasound that still further generates these electrons within the earth, that all of this was done with the specific purpose of creating altered states of consciousness, so that the initiates who would be present inside the pyramids could quite literally go through a portal and enter the other world.
Ancient Egyptian technology is genius. Similar technology that harnesses energy from the earth itself, then transmits it out for human use, was nearly created by the great inventor Nikola Tesla in his Wardenclyffe Tower project at the turn of the century. Unfortunately, that was shut down because his investors didn't feel that would be a profitable endeavor.